What's the most high-risk, low-reward thing you've ever done? I used to dive in ponds at golf courses to collect the lost balls and sort them to sell back to the courses. It's unbelievable just how many snakes, alligators, and leeches live in those things. I made less than minimum wage, around $6ish at the time, and had countless close calls with critters. However, the most dangerous creatures on golf courses are old people. They do not give a frick if you're working. They will absolutely send balls of hard plastic hurtling at your head at 50 miles per hour without a second thought. Then get pissed when their ball hit your tank or cart and split open. Then demand you hand over some of your recovered balls in compensation. God, I can't believe how entitled people think they are. I would guess that old people on golf courses have to make the list of top 5 most entitled people in general. Have you heard George Carlin's bit about golf courses and what a ridiculous waste of resources they are? It's fantastic. My friends and I used to target and steal those signs that said if you are caught stealing you will be prosecuted. Many illegal things were done and many hundreds of thousands of dollars of stuff was ignored to steal increasingly difficult to obtain paper signs. I absolutely love when someone steals something worth nothing while ignoring something valuable just for the sake of stealing it. I don't know why. Dude, in the dorms we used to steal the no marijuana or alcohol and the do not tamper with adjoining doors signs and put them up on the walls in our room where we did all of the above. So dumb, but also hilarious. I once followed a young homeless man I just met, because he wanted to show me where he was staying. It was nighttime and he invited me down into a dip in the trees. We walked through a dark section of forest and he showed me some rocks and small caves with a couple beds set up. Then we left. I literally followed a stranger into the dark woods, because curiosity? Suicidality? Climbing up a water tower when drunk to find a friend. Turns out said friend was not even lost. He was yelling at me from the base of the tower. Oh, that reminds me. We got the bright idea to go rappelling off a cell tower at like 3 in the morning. This was not a spur-of-the-moment decision. It was planned. After we were done we were pulling the rope down and I guess we had left a knot in it. Rope gets stuck between the tower's vertical and horizontal supports about 15 feet out from the ladder we were using. Like it was stuck. At least 50 feet off the ground. I wasn't about to leave my $100 climbing rope hanging there, so I climbed up, no rope, and walked out on this 15 feet cross-member balancing with nothing to hold on to. Made it to the vertical support where the rope was caught, kicked it down, and then had to make it back to the ladder. Obviously I succeeded, but about 30 minutes after I got down I had the worst stress headache I've ever had in my life. I was puking, my head hurt so bad. I think I was 16 or 17 at the time. It wasn't even that fun. A rock face is much better than just hanging in empty space and sliding down the rope. Damn, this one is my favorite. Sounds like maybe by the end you didn't think it was worth $100 anymore? I think it was about the time I made it out, kicked the rope down and was hitting myself about having to go back across the span that it set in exactly how incredibly freaking stupid that was. I'm lucky to be alive many times over. Whilst building a house, the second floor had an I-beam that extended into nowhere that needed to be painted with rust protection paint. The floor had not been installed yet and the joists were still going in. To save time, I shimmied out to the end of the beam and started painting. Every breath of wind made the whole thing sway. Just my movements made it wiggle a fair bit. Nearly took a 6-meter swan dive to a concrete floor about 12 times. I could have painted it after the floor was in, but that would mean laying down drop sheets and lots of messing around. Should have waited. Was a totally stupid thing to do. Stupid? Maybe, but I've seen a lot of painters do a lot of stupid stuff like that, me included. So I think you were just playing the part, smiley face. I knew a painter. Took a summer job outside of the city, fell and paralyzed himself. Poor guy bled to death. Family found out days later when he didn't return any calls. Jesus. Man. Nah, he was a carpenter. I skipped class after a standardized test. Literally the afternoon teachers were showing movies and doing nothing and I decided it was smart to get in school suspension to sit behind a warehouse and nap with my dumbass friend. My senior year, I figured out that I was legally an adult, so I could literally just leave whenever I wanted. I was an F&D student, but when I started cutting class early, my grades went to B's and C's, because I had time to settle in at home, get an early start on my homework, and still had enough time and energy to play games with my friends on Xbox Live. My hippie teacher I had a few years earlier once said, and he could have gotten fired for this, give yourself a break, get your grades up and skip class every once in a while as a way to treat yourself. Paraphrase, it worked, but I don't think he meant to do it once a week. Most of my teachers allowed, as in they didn't ask where we were, us to stay at home as long as our grades were good. If you started slacking off, missing deadlines, etc., you'd not be able to skip school at all. The last 2 years of HS when we were 17-18 was so much fun. Me and my 3 best friends would be able to sleep enough, do all our work, meet up, play video games and go to school like 2-3 times a week. We only had to watch out, because once your attendance in a specific class dropped below 75%, you couldn't be graded. Some teachers warned us before and come to the next 3 lessons, then you can stay at home the next few, and 4 others. We simply kept our own logs. Sounds kinda stupid, but doing this I learned so much about work ethic, time management, and it gave me a feeling of going to school for my own benefit, not because I had to. Were they good movies or those weird education documentaries on something dumb, like those ones about the difference between singular and plural spelling or something? Taking a year in a program I wasn't interested in to try and get a girl, who turned me down instantly. I wasn't horny, I was lonely, and we were good friends prior, not so much afterwards, as it got awkward. It was also my 2nd year, so I did get the useless degree I never claimed for my trouble, social science. Don't feel too bad. I had a friend turn down a full scholarship to Johns Hopkins, because she met a guy at a local college when we were taking classes there to finish up high school. She decided to go to that college instead. Her and the boy she changed her life for didn't make it through the summer. 17 years after she graduated high school, she's finally, this year, graduated med school. That hurts to read. Dumb decisions are always the worst. I stole every wheel off the chairs in my high school's computer lab as a joke during a 20-minute break. I still have one of them. Probably could have gotten expelled just for a slightly funny joke and a useless chair wheel. I did the same thing except it was a mouse balls from the computer lab. So dumb. Is the mouse okay? Just replace the balls with hard-boiled egg yolks. It'll be fine. Balanced on the top rung of a 6-meter ladder to change a light bulb at work. Yes, I've done that too. The downspout on my eave troughs came off. We were living in those skinny condos at the time. Ground-level garage, living room 2nd floor, bedrooms 3rd floor. So the eave troughs were probably 35+ feet up. I borrowed my father-in-law's extension ladder. It was probably 10 feet short. I put it basically vertical against the house, instead of having the bottom further back. Stood on the top rung on my tippy toes and just barely got the downspout back on. So dumb. The downspout on my eave troughs might be the most hectic sentence I've ever heard. I started smoking. Like, what the frick is this stupid it? It has literally no benefit, it just makes me uncomfortable when I don't do it and when I do it as well. Frick cigarettes. I was in band in high school. I had a friend from middle school that was also involved in athletics at the time, and the 2 of us were outcasts among a greater band nerd population and often got talked down to, which even our instructor would join in on from time to time. At the time, flipping backpacks was popular, taking things out of the backpack, flipping the backpack inside out, returning the items to the bag and zipping the bag back up. One day when we had a substitute in, and he had the class watch the typical BS Mozart movie from the 80s again, I found a mega bag of zip ties and convinced my buddy to help me flip every student's backpack, zip tie the bags closed, and then zip tie the bags into the instrument lockers while everyone watched the movie. If we got caught and reported, the instructor 100% would have suspended us. So we were on extra edge, and right as we were wrapping up, the substitute locked eyes with us from across the room and realized what was going on and decided to pretend nothing happened, and we completed the mission right on time. The class was very pissed as the lights flicked on and they saw what had unfolded. The substitute came back for class later that year and talked to us, saying he had to actively try not to lose his it when he saw what was going on. I freaking love you, Mr. Hudson. Reporting you would have been a high-effort, low-reward action for him. If some of the kids were acting up, it might even be low reward to just let everything unfold, as it did. I once climbed an old truss bridge to get some neat pictures of myself. I climbed under it and sat on the beams beneath the bridge. I climbed to the very top. I hung off the edge of the bridge above several rocks. Once I got done and showed the pictures to my friends, and they said they sucked. Should have worn a Spider-Man costume. Would have made the whole ordeal look cooler. Come to think of it, even then most people would have described the pictures as crap or mega crap. Should just sell it to the Daily Bugle instead. Snuck a girl over and had unprotected sex while my parents were home. Got syphilis at 17. Shite. Letting my mom count to 0. Once my mom started counting backwards from 5, and I started counting down from 3. She stared daggers at me and asked what I was counting to. I said that's how much time she has to stop pretending she was going to do it when she got to 0. My spirit leaves on to warn others of my misfortune, the perils of mistaking mercy for weakness. Oh baby, know what was you doing? Sent my boss a glitter bomb, never told anyone who sent it. The whole organization, thousands of people, know it happened. Boss flipped out when glitter went everywhere. I'll never tell anyone. That sounds like low risk, high reward. The posting it on Reddit is high risk, low reward though. Hi, it's me, your boss. Owe it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button and leave a comment which story you liked the most. Subscribe and hit the bell notification for updates on our latest videos. And don't forget to check the links in the description box for more awesome content.